There is a woman I want you to think about. She is not the loudest in the room. She does not chase validation. She does not beg for attention, explain herself to those who misunderstand her, or collapse in the presence of chaos. She simply stands. And when you meet her, truly meet her, something inside you shifts because you have never seen anything quite like it. A human being so rooted in herself that the storms of life bend around her rather than through her. You wonder, how? Today, I want to tell you the truth, not the comfortable truth, the real truth about emotionally calm women, because most people have gotten it completely wrong. The world has lied to you. The world told you that a calm woman is a cold woman. The world told you she doesn't care. The world told you she is distant, detached, disconnected from the human experience. That is perhaps the greatest misunderstanding of our time. Because emotional calmness is not the absence of feeling. It is the mastery of it. Think about the ocean. On the surface, waves rise and fall, sometimes gentle, sometimes violent, but if you dive deep enough, there is stillness, absolute stillness. And that stillness does not mean the ocean is empty. It means the ocean has depth. An emotionally calm woman has depth. She feels everything, perhaps more than anyone in that room. But she has trained herself not to be ruled by everything she feels. That is not weakness, dressed as strength. That is the most radical form of strength that exists. What no one tells you about her journey. You look at her now and you see serenity. What you do not see is the fire she walked through to get there. You do not see the nights she spent questioning herself, the relationships that broke her open, the moments when she screamed into silence. The decisions she made when no one was watching, decisions that cost her comfort, cost her approval, cost her the version of herself that people were used to. Calmness is not a gift. Calmness is a discipline forged in the furnace of experience. Every emotionally calm woman you admire made a choice, perhaps the hardest choice a human being can make. She chose to stop outsourcing her peace to other people. She stopped waiting for someone to apologize before she forgave. She stopped waiting for the situation to change before she found stillness. She stopped waiting for the world to become easier before she decided to become stronger. That is not passivity. That is the highest form of personal revolution. The 3 truths. Let me give you 3 truths that will change how you see emotional calmness forever. Truth 1. She is not unbothered. She is unbreakable. There is a difference. Unbothered means nothing reaches her. Unbreakable means everything reaches her, and she does not shatter. She processes, she integrates, she grows. The pain lands, the disappointment lands, the betrayal lands. But she does not build a house inside that pain and live there. She passes through it with intention. Truth 2. Her calmness is her boundary. In a world that profits from your anxiety, that sells you products for your insecurity, that rewards your reactivity with attention, choosing calmness is an act of defiance. When she refuses to argue with someone who only wants to win. When she refuses to explain herself to someone who has already decided. When she walks away from chaos without slamming the door, that is not weakness. That is a woman who knows the value of her energy and refuses to spend it carelessly. Truth 3. Her silence is not emptiness, it is power. The most dangerous thing in any room is a woman who does not need to prove herself. She doesn't need to raise her voice because her presence already speaks. She doesn't need the last word because she already has the last decision. And she has learned, truly learned, that some battles are not worth fighting, not because she cannot win, but because she refuses to become someone she doesn't respect in the process. What she is building inside. Now I want to speak directly to every woman in this room, to every woman who is on the path. You are not broken because you feel deeply. You are not weak because you have cried. You are not behind because you are still learning to hold yourself together in difficult moments. What you are is in training. Think of it like this. A mountain does not become a mountain overnight. It is shaped by pressure, by heat, by time. And when it is finally formed, nothing moves it, not wind, not rain, not the opinion of those who have never climbed it. You are the mountain. and you are still being shaped. Every time you pause before reacting, you are being shaped. Every time you choose to speak from clarity rather than from hurt, you are being shaped. Every time you protect your peace instead of performing your pain, you are being shaped. Do not rush the mountain. A message to the world and to everyone else, to those who love these women, who live beside them, who work with them, who are trying to understand them. Stop mistaking her calm for indifference. Stop mistaking her silence for submission. Stop mistaking her stillness for emptiness. She has simply done the work you haven't done yet. She has sat with herself in the darkest rooms of her own mind and chosen, consciously, deliberately, painfully, to come out on the other side with her dignity intact. That is not something to be intimidated by. That is something to be inspired by. The final truth. Here is the final truth, the one I want to leave with you today. Emotional calmness is not a destination you arrive at and then rest. It is a practice, a daily, conscious, sometimes exhausting practice. There will be days when she fails, days when the old patterns return, days when the noise of the world is louder than the stillness inside. And on those days, the true measure of her character is not that she stayed calm. It is that she came back to herself, that she looked inward, recalibrated, breathed, and chose again to be the woman she has decided to become. That return, that sacred act of returning to your own center after being shaken, that is the real work. That is the real strength. That is the real truth about emotionally calm women. They are not above the storm. They have become the eye of it. And in that eye, there is wisdom, there is grace, there is a power so quiet, so deep, so unshakable, that the world has no choice but to notice. Be the mountain, do the work, return to yourself, every time. That is enough, and you are enough.